Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Okay. How is everybody doing this Monday morning? Welcome to Mindset Monday. Thank you for showing up, whether you're here live, whether you are streaming later, whether you are watching this on my new YouTube channel. Um, Thank you for coming. Today, I am excited to talk about a topic that is near and dear to my heart, I'm passionate about, which is planning an exit strategy. And I know that it might sound like a really big thing to talk about if you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm not thinking about selling my business. I'm nowhere near that yet. Um, well, now's the time to be thinking about it because when you want to exit a business, it's very different than when you want to sell your house. When you sell your house, you can put it on the market, look at average days on the market. Maybe it's 17 days, maybe it's 45 days. But a business is very different. And so if you're thinking at any point in your life, you want to sell your business, this is a good tune in for you today. So, good morning to some of you guys tuning in. Good to see you, Sam, Ginger, Lynn. Good to see you guys. Um, Look, uh, one of the very best pieces of advice that I got in, I'm going to say the mid 90s, was run your business as if you're going to sell it tomorrow. And it was an odd piece of advice that I received because in 1992 is when I opened my business, and I had no thoughts in 1992 that I was going to turn around and sell my business. It just wasn't even a thought, but the concept to run your business as if you're going to sell it tomorrow was a very interesting concept for me to process and for me to try to understand how am I going to take that advice and integrate that advice into my day-to-day workings. Again, when I got that advice, I was 27 years old. I had just opened my business. I had plans of grandeur, right? Um, and so I took it in a different way because, to be honest with you, I never really thought I was ever going to sell my business. But I want to just fast forward you with me here to 32 years later. And I just sold two businesses, one in 2023 and one in 2024. Both were sold in very different ways. They were not identical twins, even though they were under the same umbrella of a name. They were sold very different to two different people. And so by taking that advice that I got early on, and it morphed over time, the meaning of it morphed over time. What I got out of that piece of advice, which is run your business as if you're going to sell it tomorrow, is it meant for me to get clarity around how to run a business, to create a structure of a company that can run on its own. And um, think about your business as an asset, not a side hustle. And I think that if you can do that as you're moving through your business ownership or leadership process, you're going to have an easier time. So there's a couple of key highlights that I want to throw out there today and talk about. And of course, 25 or 30 minutes isn't even going to brush the surface, but I just want to give you maybe 5 things to think about today. One is number one, don't be the main rainmaker in your business. If you are the one that is bringing in all the revenue and you're the main money maker in your business, people that are looking to buy a business aren't looking to buy you, they're looking to buy the business. And so, how can you show and how can your business be operated to where maybe you are an income producer, but that you're not the main rainmaker of the business? Meaning, most, I'm going to just say salon owners, and I know that there's spa owners and barbershop owners, but I'm just going to use salon owner as kind of context for us today. we become really busy hairdressers and we say, well, I'm so good at doing hair, I'm going to be great at being a business owner. But if you're a business owner sitting in here listening to this, you know, and I know that they are two completely different skill sets. Just because you're a great hairdresser and you learned how to build your own personal business or brand doesn't mean you're going to make a great leader and a great business person. So you have to be ready to take on the skill set and the protocols that create strong businesses. And if you are one of the busiest stylists in your business and you are the money maker in the business, it's time to start thinking differently. It's time to start saying to yourself, hey, guess what? I need to start unloading some of my clients onto some of my other stylists. And maybe that means backing away a few days a week and taking your clients and moving them to other stylists. And I'm not saying moving them to brand new stylists, moving them to stylists that are going to retain and build your brand. And then you take the days that you have slowed down behind the chair and you start devoting that time into leadership, coaching, building practices that feed a thriving business. That's the different skill set we're talking about. You might be a master at what you do. But if you are thinking, one day I want to step away from my business, we have to start thinking, what is it that people are going to buy? People are going to want to buy a well oiled machine. As you guys know, I also do real estate now. And so when I am out there with clients looking at properties, clients want the houses that go the fastest are the ones that are beautiful, the ones that people put time, energy, and money into, and they make this aesthetic, beautiful home. So it's turnkey. So when we think about a turnkey business, we want to think about what kind of business can somebody walk into where the systems, the structures, the people, the practices, the revenue is already there. So if you're the only rainmaker, it's something to start thinking about. How do I start delegating? All right. The second thing that I wanted to talk about, and this is so important, and I think I've been talking about this topic my entire, I'm going to say adult career because I was a kid. I feel like when I opened my business, and it took me some years to figure out how to talk about my financials, how to read my financials, how to understand what they meant, not only from a profit and loss standpoint, but understand what they meant if somebody was going to audit me tomorrow because they wanted to buy my business. What would my financials look like? Now, I'm not new to this game, guys. I know that you run stuff through your business, right? Like we run things through our business. One of the benefits of having a business is to be able to utilize our business in a lot of different ways. But when we are looking at financially, you are going to have somebody come in and take a look at your financial documents, your balance sheets, your profit and loss statements, the books, and they need to look clean. They need to look as if you pulled yourself out and that person that's visualizing themselves moving into your business puts themselves in, that they could see that they're walking into the turnkey business, that the revenue's coming in, that if you left, that they would be buying an investment, that there's a return on their investment, meaning there's profitability. So getting your financials squared away so that they look auditable. If you're thinking, if you're a brand new owner, this may not be as prudent to you as it would be if you're an owner that's looking in the next couple of years to sell your business. My advice, I'm not a financial planner, I'm not an accountant. I'm a person I learn on the streets. I've always learned on the streets. I learned my business acumen on the streets. I learned how to sell my business on the streets. And so this is street advice. Um, if you are an owner and you're thinking about selling your business in the next 2 to 3 years, not only should, yes, your financials look amazing, But you should also invest in getting a business valuation so that you can see what the value of your business is right now. Not the day you want to sell it, but a few years before you want to sell it. So that you could say, you know what, is that something that is going to be satisfactory to me? Do I need to work harder to develop a business model that has a higher profitability? Because in our industry, the majority of the time, how businesses are valuated is based on a multiple of your profit. What does that mean? That means if we take a multiple of what your average profit is for the last couple of years and we say, well, we're going to multiply that by, you know, 3 to 5 times, and maybe you could ask that for your business. Again, your business, you're only going to get for your business what somebody thinks is valuable enough to pay for your business. Just because you said, well, this is my profit and now I have this multiple of 3 to 5, 2.5 to 4.5%, whatever it is, or a multiple of, doesn't mean someone's going to pay that amount. But you can start getting an idea that my business could be ranging from this dollar amount to this dollar amount. And if that is not setting right with you, then what can you do today over the next few years to increase the profitability of your business, to start showing the profitability of your business so that you can get that multiple to show a higher number? So, and there's a lot of intricacies that go into doing evaluation because there's things called add backs, which I'm not going to get into today, but there are things that you would take out of that P&L that you use if you're running your car through there, or your health insurance or your salary. Those things would come out to create the profit, right? Because you're not going to be there anymore. So evaluation is so valuable if you're thinking in the next few years that you're going to sell your business. The other reason it's really valuable is because you don't want to say, well, this year is going to be the year I sell my business. I have no idea how to do it. I have no idea what my business is worth, but this is the year I'm going to do it. And then you find out that your business might not be worth more than $50,000 or $100,000. And you think, well, I don't know that I could sell my business for that and continue to sustain my life. Whatever your goals are, whether you're going into another business or this is your retirement, you don't want to be shocked. So preparation is the key to get yourself ready, get your mind ready for an exit strategy, and get your life ready and get your business ready. So financial planning is key in making sure that you're auditing your systems and strategies, making sure that your business is growing, and not only that your top line business is growing, but that your bottom line business is growing. Just because your sales are growing doesn't mean that your profit's growing. Those are two different things. So if you're interested in what I'm talking about, feel free to reach out to me. I mean, like I said, I've been coaching people since I sold my businesses. It's become the thing that I'm helping people prepare their business. So, all right. So clear financials. The third thing that I wanted to throw out there today is start succession planning early. I said this at the top of the hour. This is not the type of transaction that you wake up one day and say, I'm going to sell my business, and then expect that your business is going to sell. Our businesses are different. They're challenging. It takes a specific type of an owner to buy a salon. So in part of the planning, it's not waking up one day and saying, I'm going to sell my business this year. It's planning a few years ahead of time. And I want to just share with you that in on my business journey, on my sales journey, my exit strategy journey, I guess I'll say, it took years. Um, it The first one that I sold may not have taken that long had COVID not hit, because we were starting the transaction before COVID. And then COVID hit and it changed everything. Um, it changed the trajectory of that entire sale. Like, it was on its way, COVID hit, and it literally threw everything in the trash for a while. Then when we went to pick it up to start putting things back together, everything had changed because our business had completely changed. So again, planning and preparation, but the planning that we did for that, I still was able to use as a springboard. And I think we were talking about a transition, a succession plan in that first business for 2 years before we were even ready to take the plunge. And then COVID hit and we had to start over again. That was business number one. Again, I had said that both businesses were sold in two very different ways. There's different ways to get to what your goals are. And one thing that I learned is that I couldn't be hooked on just one way. I had to explore and be creative in different ways if I wanted to sell my businesses. I had to have an open mind that somebody wasn't going to come in and hand me a paycheck and I was going to exit. That's really not how our businesses work anyway, because our businesses are based on relationships. So start your succession planning early. And when I say early, I think because I had this thought in my mind that run your business as if you're going to sell it tomorrow, it was in my mind for since almost the day I opened my business. As I hired people and started cultivating relationships and leadership development, is where I started having my eyes wide opened around who could be the successor of these businesses, who could carry the legacy, who knows the business well enough, who's capable, not because I wanted them to be capable, but because they had the skill set to be capable. A lot of times as leaders, and I know you're going to know what I'm talking about, we try to stuff a square peg in a round hole and we're pissed because it's not working. Just because you want somebody to be your successor doesn't mean they're capable of being the successor. It doesn't mean that they want to be the successor. But when you start early enough thinking about an exit strategy, you can start feeling things out, giving people leadership jobs, seeing how they are showing up, really looking at how these people are showing up as an ally to you and as truly a part of your culture and your company. And you can't do that by interviewing somebody. You can only do it by how people show up behaviorally to be able to assess whether, you know what, this maybe could be somebody that could be a part of my succession plan by talking to them about their goals. And I will warn you, if your succession plan feels around the corner for you, it's not something you start talking to your staff about right now, because that will freak them out and they'll be like, oh, well, we're out of here and my owner's selling and we don't know what we're going to do. And then you have a walkout and then what do you have to sell? So why I say that this takes a long time, succession planning starts early. Conversations start early. Mentoring starts early so you can start observing how this transition could look. So, all right. The next thing that I want to throw out there is that, and I've been talking about this, is that selling takes time. It could take a year, it could take 3 years. Like I said, my first business that I sold because COVID hit took 4 years, I think, to get really the sale done. The second one took a year and a half. And that was through mentoring and um, uh, conversations and looking into how it could be done because the financial situations were totally different. What was I open to? What wasn't I open to? And really seeing how things could play out. That one took, once we decided to move forward, this is after we decided to move forward, it took a year and a half. Not the time I started thinking about it. No, I was thinking about it, mentoring, cultivating a culture that could handle a transition plan where the new owner would be successful in that transition plan. It wasn't a buy and buy. like, give me the money and I'm out. It was, how can this continue to sustain? That takes planning, right? So, all right, guys, I hope that, throw me some comments and let me know if any of this is resonating with you or sitting right with you, or if you have questions about it. But let's recap. We talked about run your business like you're going to sell it tomorrow. Again, it doesn't mean you're going to sell it tomorrow, but run it the way you would need to run it in order to sell it tomorrow. Get your systems going, your structure up and happening. Make sure you have a great compensation plan, that you have your employee handbook, that you have your mission statement and your core values, that you have a culture that's thriving. People want to buy a thriving company. They want their ROI, their return on their investment. Make sure you're not the only one bringing in the revenue, that you are not the only rainmaker. If you are, you need to step back and take a look at, how is it that I can start delegating some of these clients, moving this load over to some of these other stylists. I mean, well, look, we have a visitor today. Um, and just so that we can make sure that the business is thriving with or without me. Okay. And so, how do we do that? We do that by making sure that our staff is busy and we free up our time to make sure that we are cultivating a team and that we have a strong team. Get your financials tight and transparent. Transparent to a bank. Transparent so when you look at them, you know exactly what's on there. Not some big miscellaneous account has a bunch of money and you have no idea where these expenses are coming from. Make sure you're paying yourself the right way, so that when we pull you out, it's not all conjoined in with everybody else, and it's like unweaving a puzzle. Okay. Start the succession planning early. Start putting on your radar, if in the next few years you're thinking, I may want to make a change. Now is the time to start looking at who could step up here. When you can do a succession plan internally, it is I don't know. I'm going to say the easiest, and I'm only going to say that because it's the only way I've ever done it. Maybe it would be easier to find somebody from outside to come up and buy it. Maybe there are salons in your area within a 10-minute radius, 20-minute radius, that are looking to build their business and add to their fleet of salons. And maybe that would be your best buyer. But whatever it is, your finances need to be in tow. They need to be tight. And having a valuation gives you a real understanding of what your business could be worth. And remember, selling takes time. So this is not, you may wake up one day and say, I'm going to start my succession planning, which could take a year to a couple years. But I just want to manage expectations. Businesses are not the types of things that you wake up and say, I'm going to sell my house. Let me get it ready and paint it and put it on the market and get an agent and sell it. It doesn't work like that in businesses, maybe in other businesses. But in our business, it doesn't work that way. And I will go as far as to say I have helped other businesses with their succession plans. One of them last year was a very good friend of mine who owned a renowned interior design company in Chicago. And he was really in the same boat as me. He and his business partner had been in the business for 30 years. And they were trying to sell their business for a couple of years. And I started talking to them and I said, I know I can help you. And I said, I've been offering to help you. Take me up on the help. So they finally called me, and they had a successor in their company. And they just didn't know what steps to take to get the job done. And it took them a year. Now they had their finances tight. They had their successor. They had their person. We got evaluation. We did a presentation to the buyer. So there's a lot of steps involved, but it took them, I think they thought it was going to take them about 2 years, and it took them a year. So by December 31st of this past year, they had their business sold and they had a great price for it that they did not think that they were going to get. They thought they were going to close the doors and say, you know what, we're going to retire and close the doors. And I kept saying, why would you close the doors? You have a thriving business. Somebody is going to want that business. The value is there if the price is going to match that value for them. How can we help you to get that deal done? And so that took a year. And so, like I said, things take time and they take planning, but with the right support and the right planning, um, you can make that happen for yourself. So I hope that this information was valuable to you. Reach out, let me know if you have any questions. I'm here for you. And I hope that you make it a great week. We'll see you probably in a couple weeks for another Mindset Monday. Feel free to message me. Let me know what's interesting to you, what you have questions about, what you want me to do a deep dive on, and I'm here for it. Have a great week, guys. Mwah, mwah. Bye. Check out my new YouTube channel, Carrie Davis Consulting. All of these videos, all of this free education is now on my YouTube channel because Facebook is only keeping videos up for 90 days now. So I've transferred my library over, not the whole library, but probably 50 videos over. And each one that I do every week, I'll keep loading them up onto my YouTube channel. So have an amazing week, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.